I always knew Blueface was pretty stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100.
Wack100 was supposed to be Blueface's manager and business partner, but instead, it looks like he's been quietly taking advantage of him for years. Let's break down how one of hip-hop's most talked about managers allegedly pulled off one of the slickest money moves the industry's ever seen. Right in plain sight, Wack100, born Cash Jones, is a Los Angeles music manager and longtime industry figure. He's known for working with headline-making artists and never being afraid to speak his mind. Before breaking into the music world, he built a name for himself in the streets and used that same fearless energy to climb up the business ladder. Over the years, he's managed artists like The Game and Ray J. But his partnership with Blueface might just be his most questionable and most profitable move yet. Meanwhile, Blueface, whose real name is Jonathan Porter, was just a young guy from LA who stumbled into fame almost overnight. He went viral with his offbeat flow and catchy track Thotiana, even though at the time he had zero clue about how the music industry really worked. He wasn't used to contracts, paperwork, or percentages. He was just a street-savvy kid who happened to make a hit. That's exactly what made Blueface an easy target for someone more experienced in the game. Here was a brand new artist, fresh off a viral moment, with no real team, no lawyer, and no one to break down the fine print. He was making money, but didn't know how to protect it or structure his deals.
I always knew Blueface was pretty stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100. Let me tell you how this works. When you sign to a label, they take at least half already. Then you're getting managed by the guy who owns the label. So of your 50% that you're getting, or less than 50%, he's still taking at least 20% of that too. It's double dipping. You get what I'm saying?
And that's when Wack100 came in, ready to help him out. But according to Blueface himself, it might have been more of a setup than a partnership. Wack100's daughter was the first to hear Thotiana, and she put her dad onto it. After that, Wack100 decided to hit up Blueface directly, sliding into his DMs to set up a meeting. But Blueface wasn't too quick to respond. When you search Wack100 online, all you see is controversy, wild interviews, and non-stop drama. Even Blueface admitted he was hesitant to deal with him because of that heavy reputation. He said, when you Google him, people tell you about him. It's nothing but crazy. And to make things even trickier, back in the day, Wack100 used to go by a nickname that clashed with Blueface's street ties. That alone made their connection a little awkward. But Wack100 didn't back off. He kept calling and messaging, pushing to meet face-to-face at his house. Blueface kept dodging the calls until one of his close friends told him to at least hear Wack out and see what he had to say. At that point, Blueface was handling everything on his own, booking shows, shooting his own music videos, and running his business with no official team. He was getting attention from big labels like Atlantic and Empire, but he felt like they didn't really understand where he came from. One day, while Blueface was chilling at the park in his neighborhood, Wack100 started calling again, this time non-stop. When Blueface pulled up to Wack100's mansion, he was instantly impressed. He later said, when you see somebody who got it, it's like, okay, I like that. And that's exactly what Wack wanted, to flex his success, his cars, and his luxury lifestyle, to make Blueface believe he could reach that same level too. But here's where things started getting wild. Wack100 already had a contract printed and ready before Blueface even stepped through the door. Just imagine that. Papers waiting on the table before they'd even had a real business talk. That alone showed this wasn't just a casual meeting, it was a setup for something serious. Then came the moment that changed everything. Blueface looked over at Wack100's wife and asked her straight up, would you tell your own son to sign this? Like, if I was your son, would you recommend this? And she said, yes. That answer gave him comfort. He thought, if a mother says it's safe, it must be fine. So Blueface signed the contract right then and there. No lawyer, no time to go through the fine print, no second opinions. He just trusted the situation and went with it, thinking he was securing his future with a solid manager. But that's where the twist comes in. the contract wasn't just a simple management contract. It was both a record deal and a management deal mixed together. That setup meant Wack100 wasn't just making money as a manager, he was also taking a big slice from the music side too. Reports say he was pulling 50% of Blueface's earnings from his music, right off the top. Then on top of that, as Blueface's manager, Wack100 reportedly took another 20% from what was left of Blueface's earnings. Do the math. That's around 70% of Blueface's total income going straight to Wack100. DJ Academics even broke it all down on his stream and called it exactly what it was: double dipping. You see what that means? In a normal setup, you either have a record deal or a management deal, but never handled by the same person. That's a major conflict of interest because your manager is supposed to fight for your best deal, not be the one writing the checks. Typically, managers earn around 15 to 20%, and record deals often split profits 50-50 after expenses are paid off. But in this case, Wack100 allegedly arranged things so he got the best of both worlds, earning from both sides of the business. Meanwhile, Blueface was left with scraps from his own success, and it didn't stop there. The contract wasn't just a quick one-time deal. It locked Blueface in for several albums and multiple years. That meant Wack100 would keep collecting a massive percentage of his earnings long-term. Imagine signing away that much control before even knowing what you're really worth. Fast forward to today, and the effects of that contract are starting to show. Blueface recently got out and came home with way less money than people expected. It's wild to think that someone who once had platinum hits and millions of views could now be facing financial struggles. Even his seafood restaurant, the one he's been promoting hard, hasn't been bringing in the success he hoped for. When you're only keeping around 30% of your own earnings, it's nearly impossible to build lasting wealth or invest in your future. Most of Blueface's profits have reportedly been funneled straight into Wack100's hands. Some reports even claim Blueface might have to sell his house just to stay afloat. How wild is that? This right here shows exactly how unfair contracts can completely drain an artist's financial growth. While Wack100 is out here living in luxury homes and flexing his lifestyle all over social media, the actual artist who made the music is struggling to keep things together. And the most shocking part? Blueface is still locked into that same deal. Even if he wanted to walk away, it wouldn't be easy. These kinds of contracts are built to be tough to escape, often requiring massive payouts or long legal battles to get free.
It's important to remember, Blueface was young and completely new to the business when he signed that paper. He was barely 21, fresh out of the streets, and had no real understanding of music law or contract terms. Wack100 took full advantage of that inexperience and set up a deal that worked way more in his own favor than in Blueface's. And honestly, this goes beyond just Blueface. It's a pattern that's been happening in the music game for years. Older, more experienced industry players often lure in young artists by showing off flashy cars, big houses, and fast money. They make the deal sound like an opportunity of a lifetime, creating pressure and hype so the artist signs before getting proper advice. Having a contract ready before any real negotiations, mixing a record deal with a management deal, and not giving time for legal review, those are all classic warning signs in the music business. And the most questionable move of all was using Wack100's wife to reassure Blueface about signing. That kind of emotional influence can make someone feel safe, like they're getting family-style advice, when in reality, it's still a high-stakes business decision. This whole situation proves one thing loud and clear: industry knowledge is everything. Artists have to understand the business side of music just as much as the creative side. If Blueface had known basic contract language or had a lawyer take a quick look, this entire outcome could have been very different. From Wack100's point of view, he likely feels justified because he did help open doors, set up shows, and guide Blueface through the industry. Still, taking around 70% of someone's earnings is extreme by any measure, especially when the artist is the one making the music, building the fan base, and carrying the brand. The balance of power here was completely uneven. Wack100 had control over Blueface's career direction, finances, and major business choices. That's not a balanced partnership, that's full control. And once someone has that kind of control, they can influence every money move. And that leads to the toughest part. There's almost no easy exit. These contracts are designed to be airtight, making them incredibly hard to break without major consequences. Getting out often means paying back advances, covering legal fees, and facing costs that can pile up fast. So while Blueface is dealing with financial stress, trying to stabilize his life, and sorting through legal challenges, Wack100 reportedly continues to receive his large percentage from every move Blueface makes. And this is where the real lesson comes in. Blueface's situation isn't rare. It's actually way more common than people think. The music industry is full of stories where artists blow up fast, sign early deals, and don't realize the long-term cost until it's too late. Everyone sees the fame, the chains, and the viral moments, but nobody talks about the paperwork behind the scenes. When artists rush to lock in deals during their hottest moment, they remember the spotlight but forget the fine print. Labels and managers know that timing is everything. Catch someone when they're new, overwhelmed, and excited, and they're way more likely to sign whatever's put in front of them. That pressure is real, and it's one of the biggest traps in the business. What makes this even crazier is that once the money slows down, the support often fades too. When an artist isn't bringing in the same numbers, suddenly the guidance disappears. That's when artists realize they were never really being built up for longevity, just used while the wave was hot. Blueface's story shows why ownership matters more than hype. Streams come and go, trends fade, but contracts stay locked in. If you don't control your masters, your revenue, or your decisions, you're basically working for everyone else. And by the time artists figure that out, they're already deep into agreements they can't undo easily. This is why newer artists today are starting to move smarter. They're getting lawyers early, asking questions, and slowing down instead of rushing to sign. The game is changing, but only for those who learn from situations like this. That's millions of dollars over the years that should have stayed in the artist's own pocket. The biggest takeaway here is simple. Never sign a contract without a lawyer checking it first. It doesn't matter how close you feel to someone or how perfect the deal sounds. Always get independent legal advice before putting your name on anything that affects your future. A lot of industry veterans present themselves as mentors or big brother figures to young artists, but too often it's really about securing their next big payout. Real mentorship doesn't come from taking the majority of someone's income. When someone is pulling in 70% of the earnings, that's not guidance, that's control. Wack100's mansion, luxury lifestyle, and public success created an image that made Blueface believe signing with him was the fast track to the same results. What Blueface didn't see at the time was how that wealth was built, by collecting massive percentages from multiple artists over many years. And the damage from deals like this goes way deeper than just money. When artists can't truly profit from their own work, they can't invest back into their neighborhoods, support their families long-term, or build generational wealth. It keeps them stuck in a cycle where they stay dependent on the same system that's holding them back. If Blueface had proper legal representation, the issues in this contract would have been spotted immediately. A solid entertainment lawyer would have pushed for separate agreements, or at least fought to bring those percentages way down. If Blueface had talked to other artists with real experience in management deals, they probably would have pointed out the warning signs right away. Sometimes all it takes is a few honest conversations with people who've been through it. Even taking a couple of days to slow down, research industry standards, and really think things through could have saved them millions. The pressure to sign wasn't natural, it was manufactured. That urgency was pushed to stop Blueface from making a clear, informed decision. And the wild part is, he had interest from major labels like Atlantic and Empire at the same time. Those deals might not have been perfect either, but chances are they would have been far more bounteous than giving the majority of his income to one person. Now, Blueface is dealing with the long-term fallout from a contract he signed years ago. After coming home, he's faced financial stress, business setbacks, and even having to sell off personal assets, all while Wack100 continues to profit from his music and brand. The irony is heavy. Blueface's talent helped build Wack100's wealth, but the deal structure blocked Blueface from building stable wealth of his own. It's like working for a company where the boss keeps leveling up while you're stuck in the same spot. Except in this case, walking away isn't easy. Blueface's options are limited right now. He could try to renegotiate, but there's no real reason for Wack100 to give up such a huge percentage. Or he could attempt to break the contract, but that route usually costs more money than most artists can afford. Or Blueface can keep pushing under the same terms and hope the remaining 30% is enough to stay afloat. And that doesn't just hit the wallet, it hits the mind too. When you already know most of your hard work is paying someone else, it's tough to stay inspired and give your best every time you step in the studio. Beyond the money, this situation can drain motivation and creativity. Artists thrive on passion and belief in their future, but deals like this can slowly wear that down. When effort doesn't equal reward, burnout becomes real fast. And trust, other artists are watching all of this closely. People in the industry are taking notes, learning what not to do. This situation has turned into a clear warning about why proper representation and understanding contracts is non-negotiable before signing anything. What makes this even more uncomfortable is that this doesn't look like a true manager-artist relationship anymore. It feels more like an owner-employee setup. A real manager works for the artist, helping them grow, negotiate better deals, and keep more of their earnings, not structuring contracts that mainly benefit themselves. This is basically an extreme version of a 360 deal, where one party takes a cut from everything. But even most 360 deals don't come close to taking 70% of an artist's income. That's excessive by any industry standard. If deals like this start becoming normal, it sets a dangerous tone for the future. Younger artists might feel pressured to accept unfair terms just to get a foot in the door. Blueface likely trusted Wack100 and looked at him as a mentor, someone who was supposed to guide and protect his career. Now it seems like he's realizing that trust may have been misplaced the entire time. When an artist can't build real wealth from their own success, the impact goes beyond just them. It hits their whole family. Blueface has children and loved ones who should be benefiting from his hard work, yet most of that income is reportedly going elsewhere. The pressure from money problems, contract disputes, and feeling stuck in a bad deal can take a serious toll on anyone's mental well-being. Success is supposed to bring stability and peace, not constant stress and uncertainty, especially when you're only keeping a small portion of what you earn. Under those conditions, staying motivated and creative becomes a real challenge. It's hard to give maximum effort when you know someone else is collecting most of the reward. That's why the music industry needs stronger protections for young and inexperienced artists. There should be clear limits on how much managers and companies can take, especially early in an artist's career. Mandatory legal reviews and waiting periods for high-percentage contracts could stop rushed decisions before they cause long-term damage. Steps like these would help prevent impulsive choices that wreck an artist's financial future. On top of that, the industry needs better education programs that explain contract language, business basics, and real industry standards before artists ever sign a deal. And finally, peer support matters. More experienced artists should step up, mentor newcomers, and warn them about common traps and unfair practices. There should be way more transparency in these deals. Contracts should clearly spell out the total percentage being taken and even show how it compares to normal industry standards so artists know exactly what they're signing up for. At the end of the day, Blueface is the one who got hurt the most here. He was a young artist who caught a viral moment, but instead of that success setting him up long-term, it became the foundation for someone else to build wealth off his work. And this points to a much bigger issue. This isn't just about one bad agreement, it's a widespread problem in the music industry. Time and time again, experienced business players take advantage of young, inexperienced artists who don't fully understand contracts or leverage. Until that system changes, stories like this are going to keep repeating. That's why education matters so much. Knowledge really is power in this game. If Blueface had understood basic contract language and standard deal structures, he could have avoided this entire situation. Every upcoming artist needs to learn the business side of music just as seriously as they learn how to make hits. One rule should always apply: trust but verify. You can believe someone's intentions, but you still need independent confirmation. Lawyers, advisors, and neutral experts exist for a reason. Just because someone looks successful or talks confidently doesn't mean they have your best interest in mind. And thinking long-term is everything.
When you're making business decisions, you can't just focus on the moment or the hype. A deal that sounds great today can quietly cost you millions over the years if the structure is off. Short-term excitement often hides long-term damage. Hopefully, situations like this push the industry toward real change. More transparency, better education, and stronger protections could stop young artists from repeating the same mistakes. Hopefully, situations like this push real change in the music industry. Maybe future artists will be better protected, and maybe unfair managers will finally face real scrutiny for how they operate. Sadly, Blueface's legacy may end up being tied just as much to this contract situation as it is to his music. But if his experience helps younger artists avoid falling into the same traps, then at least something positive can come from all of this. This is a final warning to every up-and-coming artist watching this. Learn from Blueface's mistake. Take your time, read everything, and fully understand what you're signing. Never let anyone rush you or pressure you into a deal you don't completely understand. Your financial future depends on the choices you make early on. The music industry can be an amazing place when things are done the right way. But when knowledge is missing, it can quickly turn into a dangerous environment that derails careers before they even start. That's why education, patience, and protection matter more than hype or fast success. So stay informed, stay alert, and always remember, if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If this breakdown helped you understand the business side of music a little better, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more real industry stories, and comment your thoughts below. Share this with an artist who needs to hear it. This information could save someone's career.